You ready for the moment, the reveal? This is the reveal. I am so scared. I am so scared. I haven't even seen this. In 45 minutes, I created this, ladies and gentlemen. Yes! Yes! It's beautiful! Oh my god! Oh, wow! Oh my god! Good morning. I just released my timed animation challenge video, which, as you saw, had some interesting results. So today I'm recording a collab with James, aka The Odd Ones Out, which is going to be fun. We have a rough idea as to what we're doing, so we're going to have to get in touch and set up the call now. And then today, really, I'm editing that and then whatever other videos I can edit with the rest of the time of the day. So lots of editing lately. Okay, my headphones are back in. I didn't hear a thing. I'm in the dark. Okay. Alright, this is Captain Gyar. Hang on, he's going to be dramatically holding on to the... I don't know how sailboats like work. There's probably some sort of rope thing here. I don't know. This is connected to something substantial. Okay, so I finished recording my collab with James, which was really fun, and I can't wait to share that with you guys, which I actually think will be my next video, so I'm going to get on editing that ASAP. But in the meantime, something of a very specific size arrived in the mail, and I think I know what it is, and in fact, it does say on the from thing, such and such YouTube. So I believe this is my golden play button, which is awesome. Because we have the Arty Party coming up this Saturday, and Mrs. Jazza was talking about, you know, you won't get your golden play button in time. We should make a fake golden play button to like present to you on the day. We might actually be able to do. Well, I mean, obviously we will be able to do that if this is the golden play button. But I'll give it to Mrs. Jazza so she can double check and then she can sort all that out. But yay! 1 million party can be like, that's like a fun little thing we can share together. And once again, I'll be trying to stream it. I'm not 100% sure on the internet connection, but either way, it's a moment I'd like to share with you all. Yay. Anyways, I have to get to work because I have a whole bunch of editing to do.
I spelled cheek.
Cheek. C-H-E-E-K. Are you giving away your ending?
No, I'm drawing you.
Okay.
I'm drawing your cheekbone. Your iconic cheekbone.
Oh, yeah, that's my cheek. Iconic cheek.
If this is the first time you've seen me, you might already tell I'm a pretty bad artist.
I'm actually wrapping up again, not early because I've been working away, but just early for the vlog because there's not much to show. We did the collab, we recorded it, and I've just been editing, and it's coming together. I'm hopefully going to have it finished tomorrow, and then tomorrow I'm going to be working on Skillshare and doing some more editing. So the last few days have really just been editing, which is kind of hard to show in a new and interesting way when you do lots of it in a row. But there is a question of the day I want to take on today, which I think is interesting. I want to talk about for a bit. This is from Time Turtle, who says, what is the best way to deal with criticism? And a lot of people upvoted that, and I think it's a very fair and interesting question. And my answer to that might not exactly be what some people might think or say. I think a lot of people think when it comes to dealing with criticism, the answer is to ignore bad critiques or irrelevant things, or to build your own self-esteem and confidence and be introspective and stuff like that. I don't know. I think there are valuable things in those things. My personal go-to approach and impulsive response to criticism is always the same thing. And it comes down to 3 special magical words. I'll show you. It's competitive, admittedly, but I guess if you're trying to get somewhere and criticism is what's standing in the way of that, then criticism should fire you up so you fight back at it. Taking something negative and using it as fuel to your flame. And the reason I wanted to talk about this is because there are actually specific examples in my life that I know that this attitude has made a huge difference, that I think that a lot of people who struggle dealing with criticism from other people could benefit from, and I'm hoping this perspective might help some people. But before I go into all that stuff, it is worth saying that having the power behind those words, I'll show you, really fundamentally relies on self-esteem and believing you can prove people wrong. So in order to do that, I think you just have to have faith in yourself. I think even though you may not believe that you're perfect or that the person's criticism may be valid, you need to have enough faith in yourself that 5 years from now, it won't be valid, and you're gonna prove that to be the case. And that, I guess, is what I'm talking about. Not necessarily that their criticism is wrong, because often it is absolutely right, but just knowing that it doesn't matter, even if it is right, and it does upset you in that moment, because then you can use the attitude of, I'll show you, of let me prove to you how much I can kick ass and be better than you think I am, to throw that right back in the face of your criticizers, which might sound like a petty thing, and it might sound like juvenile and competitive, and maybe it is, but it's served me well, and it's not a negative feeling for me, it's actually a really positive one. So when I talk about personal experiences, one that comes to mind is when I was a kid. I was about like 14, 15. There was another artist who used to go to the local church with me back when I used to be religious, and he was 2 years older, and he was way better, super good at art. And I admired him so much. And he was really friendly, actually. He wasn't like belittling of me or anything, but it was apparent to everyone else that he was better than me. I'm a kind of a competitive person, not in a negative way, but I always have someone out of my reach and better than me that I'm sort of looking at and thinking, I'll get there. I'll be up where you are, right? And he was that for me when I was like 14, 15. Anyways, I remember there was this one time I was showing this girl at church my art folder, which I was really proud of, and you know how proud I am of my art folder. I still have my art folder, by the way. It was this one. It was this art folder. See, there's a minotaur, there's like a dragon and a mermaid. And I was like 14, 15 years old, and this was like my best stuff, and I was like, look at my artwork, right? And then this 16-year-old kid had his artwork, and she looked at his and loudly said, wow, he is so much better than you. And to hear that out loud was actually really sort of hurtful, you know? Like, I was a kid, I was developing, I knew he was better than me, but to hear someone say that right after I'd shown her my work really cut me. But then the immediate emotional response, which I now later can define what it was, I'll show you. And that, I think, makes a huge difference. Because if that moment of discouragement or criticism or hurt stops you from moving, that's the problem. It's not the criticism that's the problem, it's the stagnation and the resigning to the criticism that is the problem. Earlier in my career, when I was like, 17 or whatever, making games and animations on Newgrounds has taken on a few different shapes and feelings through its life as a website. And earlier on, and when I was making animations and games there, it was a little rougher around the edges, and there was often quite negative criticism. I suppose that happens on YouTube, but as far as a creative community goes, it was hard to earn people's approval. And quite often you would upload animations or whatever, and you'd get some pretty harsh criticism back. And I thrived in that atmosphere, because every time I uploaded something and 30-40% of the reviews were like negative, that gave me fuel to say, okay, I'll show you. The next one is going to be even better. And then the next one came out, criticism came in, the next one was going to be even better. And time after time, that is exactly what it took to get me to take each next step to up my game every time. I think one of the reasons when things are going well on my channel, or when things are going well in my career and job, I get a bit negative or anticipate problems, is because I push myself into the corner of things could go wrong, but I'll show myself, I'll show you that I can overcome that. And I think that helps keep the drive, because I never like to be in a place where good things happen and I think, good things are happening, they should be happening, they're going to keep happening. Because then you stop moving, and it's also sort of douchey and ungrateful, right? However, good things happen, and then better things happen, then you can say, I'll show you. And then sometimes bad things happen, and you can still have that same attitude. And the point is, regardless of the scenario, you're moving in a better direction and you're improving. Late last year, we actually lost a sponsor that we really loved and worked with, and for no personal reasons, sponsors come and go. And after sort of realizing that that was the case, I didn't take it personally. My attitude switched into, well, I'll show you. I'll show you that I am extremely valuable as someone that can work with you or other brands like you or whatever. And then within 2 months, we had 2 sponsors to fill that spot that covered what that sponsor provided, even though they were a huge part of making the channel sustainable. I could have responded to losing them with fear or thinking, we can't move anymore. We can't be stable. We need that support to do anything and then just be shell-shocked or not move. But because in response to that I moved and just thought, okay, well, I'll show you, then it put me in a position to make better things happen. And then the last thing from personal experience that I'll say is that there was an evening like 3 months ago where Mrs. Jazza and I were chilling out in the lounge room. And we, for the first time ever, Googled me. I've never done it, and she hasn't done it. We just sort of like, typed up Jazza, and I said, type Jazza sucks, right? And she typed Jazza sucks, and it went to this 4chan post that this person started, essentially the whole point of it was to say that I suck. And it was an interesting thing, because there were some people in the post who were saying, he's not such a bad guy, just leave him alone, he may not be the best artist, or some people saying he's pretty good, but there were a few people saying I was pretty crap. And the funny thing is, Mrs. Jazza was really worried about me, really worried about how that would affect me and that it would upset me. I was like delighted to read this stuff. Like I was like, it was awesome, because I feel sometimes I'm in an echo chamber with my channel and my community that I'm so lucky to have, that are also positive and supportive, that I'm surrounded by a lot of positivity, which makes you feel like, not that you lose that drive, but you do lose some of that constant combativeness that keeps you pushing yourself. And I wouldn't trade my community for anything in the world. I'm not trying to say anything like that. But to read people be nice and coarse about me fired me up and really made me feel like, all right, cool, let's kick ass and show them who's boss, you know? And anyways, it probably sounds a bit douchey to say all that, but I guess I wanted to give you a bit of a perspective, because I feel like a lot of people might, if they accidentally came across a forum post or a web page dedicated to saying you suck, that would make you freeze and think maybe I suck or people don't like me. But that doesn't matter, because even if you do slightly suck or people do not like you, you can still get better and kick ass and show them who's boss. And that's the fun of it. To me, it's like a video game. It's like leveling up, and like, yeah, you can't beat the boss at level 3. Are you kidding? But that doesn't mean you can't kick ass and get to level 90 and then like, wow, I'm super nerdy right now. But you get the point. I'll finish off with one more experience, but it's not my own, and it's one I read on the internet, so it could be fake, but I found it interesting. Meryl Streep, apparently, in one of her early auditions a long time ago, was rejected because she was too ugly and was told that she wouldn't get anywhere. And apparently it was that moment that she decided that she wouldn't take no for an answer, and that she would prove them wrong and show them. And now she's a multi-Oscar award winning and highly regarded by many in the acting industry as one of the most prolific actresses of our time. And if she didn't have that moment of, I'll show you, she never would have gotten there. So my answer to that question, which is a very interesting and worthwhile question, how do you deal with criticism? Show them. Show them they're wrong. And prove to yourself that you're awesome. Because you are. And you will be. Even in things that you may not be in yet. You can be and you will be. You're awesome. Show me. Anyway, that is it for today. I hope you found that interesting. It's sort of fun to talk about that sort of thing and to dive deeper into a question every now and then. So thank you all for leaving your questions of the day. And you know how it works. You leave your question with the Q and the colon in the comments, and hopefully eventually I'll get to yours too. So yeah, I guess I'll leave it there. I'm going to wrap up, and tomorrow's another big editing day, so hopefully I'll have something interesting to show other than just a big messy room and not much of me editing, because it's all the same, but we'll get there. This weekend is going to be crazy, so it's sort of just leading up to a lot of crunch time getting work out of the way so that we can free up the weekend for the arty party and things like that, which I'm super psyched about. I'll see you guys tomorrow.